My name is Walleen Smith. I was born and raised in Middleburg. My family lived on Foxcroft Road. Um, I have owned my restaurant and catering business since 1986. I started out as a restaurant and catering company on Federal Street right here in Middleburg. I think everybody, when they describe me, first of all, everybody calls me Tutti. When I do use my name Walleen, they look at me and go, "Who's Walleen?" Anyway, so, but Tutti, everybody knows. Um, I, I'm happy. I'm a very upbeat, happy person. I'm also extremely loud. I tell people that if you don't see me, then listen because you're gonna hear me at some point. You're gonna hear me laugh or you're gonna hear something. So I think that's what people know a lot about me is that I'm a happy person and I'm a loud person but I but I'm also genuine. I am a true friend. I'm a true neighbor. I'm a true entrepreneur. I don't really know how my family got here, but I do know that a lot of my father's side of the family were from Fauquier County, the Warrenton area. But my father was raised by his grandmother, and her name was Katie. And Katie was well known in the Middleburg area. She worked for a lot of prominent people. She cooked for a lot of prominent people. She was also a midwife. The gentleman that she worked for, his name was D.C. Sands. Don't know anything about him, but he owned the property that was off of Foxcroft Road. It's now called Polecat Hill, and it's also part of Glenwood Park. So where all the fall and winter, spring and fall steeplechase races happen in Middleburg. And he sold my great grandmother, Katie, a parcel of land to build a house on. So that's how my family moved to Middleburg, or that was where their roots started here. I just remember that home place was a huge family place. It's where everybody. It's where the family gathered every Saturday and Sunday. At brothers and my father's brothers and my mother's brothers and our cousins and everything. Everybody would come there on the weekends, and it was just a big family picnic and lots of fun every weekend. Our family was tight and close, and everybody loved one another, and everybody supported one another, and everybody, if someone needed help, family was there. Well, I was young. I'm the youngest of 6 siblings. So my time at Asbury, I was very young. I was probably 5 or 6 years old. So I don't have a lot of memory of what church was like. What I do remember is it was a tiny little church, and it was there was like 3 or 4 families that went to that church and sort of ran the church, and they were the ones who were the Sunday school teachers and ran the Christmas pageants and all that kind of stuff. I remember Miss Carter being at the piano, and I remember singing in the choir. I don't remember anything specific about singing in the choir. I know we did a little Christmas pageant and everybody had a little something to say. But I do know that Foxcroft School every year would have a Christmas pageant, and the girls would do like a live nativity type of thing, and there was donkeys and all kinds of stuff, and you'd go and you'd sit on the floor and watch the little Christmas pageant, and at the end they gave you this little box of hard Christmas candy and an orange, golden. It was like we looked so forward to having that little box of candy and that orange. It was always so musty. It was an old building. It was an old building. It was creaky, rickety. It was solid, I think. But yeah, I mean, it certainly wasn't fancy. It didn't have, a social hall. You walked in one door and there was bleachers on each side. Pews on each side and in the middle, and then you walk out the other side. And there was a little pulpit and a little choir thing, but it did have an upstairs balcony, which was a cool place to be. That's where Sunday school was, and I don't think the church was ever packed enough that the balcony was full. But it was an interesting building. That's what I love about those days is that, there was no electronics. I think we may have had a battery operated toy, but life was simple, and it was happy, and I have fond memories of Asbury, just because when we went there, we were with our friends and family. The kids we went to school with. Cousins, Phyllis Cook, the Robinson family, the Hatcher family, so kind of for me, it was like hanging out with my friends in Sunday school, I do remember, that church in Shiloh Baptist Church. That was where Black people went to church. And Sundays you could pretty much run into just about any and everybody in that little area of town where the Black Community Center was, and those two churches. That guys out playing basketball after church all day long, gospel singing programs at the Black Community Center. Those were pretty cool days. I don't have a lot of memory of anything happening in Middleburg that was negative toward me, or I'm sure it was here. I'm positive it was here. But I think that my parents were very instrumental in making sure that we felt comfortable in our own skin. Don't pay attention to what anybody says. Don't pay attention to what anybody does that may indicate that they don't want you around. My parents never sat around and talked about all the stuff that was going on that was negative in the world. We saw the Martin Luther King on TV, and the march and the speech and all that kind of stuff. And so I knew it was happening, but it didn't. I never felt like it directly was aimed at me. Middleburg will always be my home. Middleburg is not as pretentious as everybody thinks it is. I think it's because there's so much money out here, I think people automatically assume that everybody is hoity-toity and, looks down on you. I don't feel that way. It's because I'm not going to allow you to make me feel that way. I think the people in Middleburg are more down to earth than you think they are. This is my home. This is where I prospered. This is where I've put my roots. This is where I've had my business. This is where I've made a name for myself. And why would I want to leave it? I can travel. I can go anywhere I want to go. But I want to stay here. That's where I was born. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.